At this time, I'd like to introduce to you an old friend of West Seattle, a real pioneer, a person who knows the history, and who's a good friend of all of us, Warren Lawless.
You know, I suppose that you could call this a kind of a two-part celebration. The first part of it is that this marks the completion and dedication of mural number 9, and the second part is that this summer will be the 20th anniversary of this float. Believe it or not, it traveled the streets of West Seattle and Olympia and Puyallup and a few other places in 1973. And we have the royal court intact to prove it. You know, I look at Hi-Yu, just going to Hi-Yu, since that's the subject of our float, in about 3 different parts. First, the part that came before I joined them, the part while I was there, and the part that was there after I left. And fortunately, this was during the part when I was there, well, during the 7 years that I acted as coordinator of Hi-Yu, with a lot of help from our crew. I can attest to that. There's a lot of people involved in Hi-Yu in those days. They, what we got as a legacy from Ted Best and old people like Dick Kennedy and John Kaufman, long gone John Kaufman, and many other people that through the years we took up in 1967, and we can remember the picnics down at Lincoln Park where we used to draw up to 3,000 people, where Jim Sweeney would throw a batch of plywood on his truck down at the Alki lumber yard with some other lumber and stuff, leave the key in the ignition, and we'd go down on Sunday morning and start up the truck and go up to Lincoln Park and build a tent platform and a headquarters and put 2x12s around one of the stoves for the Rotary Club to have their coffee booth. And I can also remember Normie Beers with his kid games, his pie eating contests, and of course the ever-present husband calling contest that we had in those days. Financing was always a problem. I suppose it is now, although I'm not that close to Hi-Yu. I suppose it is now. But we had one advantage. We used to have a carnival down at the arena down here, and I remember one of the last jobs that we had to do with Hi-Yu was to go down there and sit in the truck with the guy while he counted out $5 and $1 bills to us to pay us off. They never dealt in checks, I can assure you that. And of course we raffled off a car, and we used to draw about 1/3 of our money from the commercial establishment in the area. There were a lot of events in those days, and I'm sure there are today. Well, I think I'll get along with the program. One of the things I want to especially do is to thank Jack Menashe of Menashe and Sons Jewelers for his supplying us with this wall. He owns this building, and he also ponied up to get the wall prepared. And believe it or not, preparing a wall for a mural is not just slapping a coat of paint on it. I would like also to have Jim Edwards, who is current 1992-93 president of Hi-Yu, to come up and make a few comments about what Hi-Yu will be this year. Jim? Thank you, Bill. John, appreciate it very much. I just want to, because she's the one that writes the checks and has the spirit of generosity. I'd like it to have Doris Richards, president of the West Seattle Business Telephone Directory, stick her hand up at least and be recognized. Now I'm going to, see, I got you out of here pretty quick, and I'm going to turn it back to Earl to shut this down. If any of you want to pose alongside your continents up here on the mural and get what we call a photo opportunity, feel free. Earl, close it down.